In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Jabba the Hutt as part of the Jabba's Rancor Pit set for the Black Series 3 3/4 line. I believe it was a Toys R Us exclusive at the time. For the most part, the 6 action figures that are featured in it are all just repaints, except for Jabba the Hutt himself, and he's the only action figure technically from the set that I have, although I have pretty much the rest of them, but they're just slight repaints. So the other action figures included are the Slave Leia, same one's Legacy Collection here, or the TBC action figure that was repacked later. There's also the lightsaber construction Luke, which I think that one's a slight repaint from the one I have, which is the original TBC figure. There's also the TBC C3PO, which again I think is a slight repaint. And then we have the Gamorrean Guard as well, which is a repack or a repaint of the TBC one right here. And then, of course, the Rancor, which I do not have a Rancor in my collection at this time. To be honest, not really high on my priority list. I do plan on getting some at some point, but that's something I'm saving for the far future. And if I do get a Rancor, I'm leaning more towards getting some of the Force Unleashed ones instead that come with like the Felucian Warriors and have all the appropriate saddles and things like that. But again, that's for the far future. For now, we'll just be taking a look at Jabba the Hutt. Now, the reason why I got this Jabba, I ended up buying him off eBay a couple years ago now. I think it's been about 2 or 3 years now. It was just before Hasbro announced that they were going to be releasing Jabba yet again into the TBC line as part of the Jabba's Throne. I ended up getting this action figure because I figure if my Legacy one here ever deteriorated to the point where he was no longer usable, this would be my alternative Jabba the Hutt. And to this day, it looks like this is going to be probably the last Jabba the Hutt sculpt we get in this scale, because it was repainted yet again for the sail barge HasLab. I think it did have like the face printing tech and things like that. And then for the Jabba's Throne that was released a little over a year ago, that was a repaint of this Jabba as well. But this is the original. And I am glad I got it. It is a very nice Jabba. Paid a little bit more than I probably should have for this at the time. But I figured not too often I could find this Jabba by himself. At least at that time, that was the case. And a Jabba I've been eyeing for a long time at that point, so I thought, well, okay, I'll just go ahead and do it. But I'm glad I have this Jabba. So I think the detailing in him is pretty good. I still think this Legacy Collection Jabba is the best sculpt that you can get. I like the proportions of it. It's a little bit larger too, compared to the Black Series Jabba here. And overall, I think it looks the closest to how he does in the film. I just wish they didn't use that rubber body instead. This one's just entirely cast in plastic, so you shouldn't have to worry about the deterioration so much. He doesn't really have that stickiness. See, the paint detailing is really good, and this was during the era when Black Series was kind of questionable with its paint apps. But I think in this set it turned out just fine. I think the set kind of peg warmed at Toys R Us as well at the time. I do recall reading about that, and I did see it at retail a couple times when I would visit Toys R Us. Paint apps in the eyes look good. The mouth looks good. You do have the drool painted at the edge of his mouth there. A little bit of his mouth open there. No tongue or anything like that. See, his body has a nice combination of green and the tan color here. Has all these various scuffs or scrapes, I think, on his arm. You have the tattoo there as well. And you can kind of see the bottom of the slug here, where almost looks like the suction cups, like you would see on an octopus or something. At the bottom of him, back of him has a little bit of a gray wash over the green. And in this case, instead of having like the articulated tail that the Legacy Collection action figure has, or should say Shadow Darkside, the articulated tail and then the tail's all straight out. This one's just permanently sculpted in the curved fashion here, so there's not a lot you can do about that. That's alright. I suppose he would fit on the throne a little better. He is articulated a little bit, has the swivel at the waist there. Then he has the hinge at the shoulder, then the hinge at the elbow, then hinged wrists as well, which is pretty good. But that's pretty much it for his articulation, and all he really needs anyway. So you could get him in like he's sliding along, basically his walking pose, or you can rotate him around and have him sitting down. See if we can compare the two Jabbas here. Have a lot of the baby powder still in this one, so it might spill out a little bit. You can just see what I mean there. And the good benefit of having two Hutts is I could treat this Jabba as a different Hutt. See how he looks on the throne there. Fits pretty good. Just have to arrange the pillows around some. But for this throne, I usually have the Shadow Darkside Jabba sitting on them. And I figure whenever I change the Boba Fett's throne room around to accommodate for Jabba, I'll be using the Black Series one here for that. It's a shame this throne doesn't fit for the throne room. But I think that's all I can really tell you about this Jabba the Hutt here. Would recommend it for your collection. I suppose it doesn't really matter if you get the sail barge Jabba or the throne room Jabba from the recently in the TVC line. Of course, they are all repainted from one another, but it seems to be the general consensus is that they're all pretty good. This one has the regular paint apps, while the newer ones I think have the photoreal. As far as the whole set goes, I suppose if you don't have any of the action figures or most of them from the set, I would recommend picking all those up as well. I already have most of the action figures, so there's not really a need for me to get the set, and that's part of the reason why I went ahead and got the Jabba by himself as well. But I would like to get the Rancor at some point, but I know there's plenty of releases of those, and again, I'll save that for the far future. But I'm glad to have two Jabba the Hutts. Both versions of him are great. These are probably the best Jabba action figures that you can get between the two here. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more in the future. There's always more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support, and check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.